everybody, Christine Bias here with eXp Realty. Making this video for you today, specifically for people out there trying to buy a home right now in this current market that we're in. So as many of you know, and especially if you are a home buyer, the market is very competitive. It's a very strong seller's market, meaning that we have more homes available for sale than we have inventory available. So what ends up happening is many times you find the home you want, you go to put your offer in, only to find out you have a ton of other people you're competing with, and you end up losing the offer because someone else gets accepted over you. And I've talked to people that are really frustrated, and some people have even given up, and what do? What gives? They're just going to wait it out. Well, I mean, if the problem with that is that, if you're ready, if you're going to buy eventually, the interest rates are low now. So if you can make it happen now, it might end up saving you lots of money in the long run. So how are you going to get in when you're competing against a bunch of people? Well, before I start, I want to say that, in this market, no one's going to win everything. No one's going to win every single one of them. It's impossible. There's too many people to compete against. But what I think you can do is, if you have a strong offer and a good approach, you can get into escrow sooner rather than later. So that's why I made this list. So let's go ahead and dive in, and I hope it helps somebody out there. Here we go. So first, be approved by a lender who can back you up and say they're ready to go. And I don't mean pre-approved, I mean approved. So that there's very small chance that you're going to get halfway through escrow or towards the end of it and it's going to fall through because you can't get your loan funded, which happens all the time. So if you could be 2 steps ahead of the game instead of 1 step ahead of game. That's definitely a huge plus if you can do that. And you have your lender there saying they're ready to go, they're fully approved, let's do this. That's going to be very helpful for you. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, your earnest money deposit. And we're all gonna, you've already decided your down payment you can afford and you're comfortable with. Now what are you gonna put down on your earnest money? So in case you're not aware, earnest money is the amount of money that you are putting up front right when escrow opens, and it's kind of like saying I'm serious deposit. So once escrow opens, you have 3 days to wire the money to escrow, and they hold it in the escrow account until the end of escrow when they close, at which point it goes with the rest of the money and it's dispersed however it's dispersed. So you would think that because the money doesn't go in the seller's pocket right away, that it wouldn't really matter what the amount is. However, it does make a difference. The more the earnest money, the more attractive the offer is going to look to the seller. So if it is possible to bring that up a little bit, I would, that's another strategy you can try, or you can use in your benefit. Don't, of course, in almost all cases, the buyer's going to get their money back should something go wrong with the deal and it does fall through. However, just make sure you know all the terms of the contract, because there are some times where they'll put in there that if this goes wrong, then the seller keeps the earnest money. So just make sure you know all the terms so that there's no surprises later on. But hiking up the earnest money could be very helpful, and it does make your offer stand out when it's more than other people's. So that's number 2. Number 3 on my list is going to be, yes, this should have been number 2, but the same difference, highest and best offer. So in this market is not the time to put in lowball offers in hopes that they're going to counter you with another offer and you guys could go back and forth like you used to be able to do. So when a seller gets like an offers and he's got a table of offers he's looking at, and you're lowballing it, and this person over here is much closer or even above the asking price, they don't have time to answer all these lowball offers. They're just going to say nope, and they're going to look at the ones that they find more serious. So I would say come in from the start, highest and best offer, and go from there. Because that's the only way you're gonna get anywhere in this market. Don't lowball. So come in where you think the home is worth and what you're willing to pay for it, and then that's your starting point. I want to throw in that sellers do not have to reply to every single offer. They can ignore them. That's totally, they can choose to do that. So again, just start with your highest and best. Okay. My next one is going to be to write a letter to submit with your offer. This does not have to be an essay. This does not have to be a book. It does not have to be a story. Just a 1 page or half a page, whatever it is, letter introducing yourself, who you are you married, do you have kids, what do you do for a living, what does your spouse do, why you fell in love with the home, why you think you'd be a good addition to the neighborhood, things like that. Now, believe it or not, this actually does help. And here's a example. So I say about 2 months ago, I was helping a buyer, or some buyers, a family, put an offer into a home, and we were up against 26 other offers. Okay, so we submit our offer. I had them write the letter, and we ended up winning the offer. Now, we were not the highest offer. However, the agent, or the listing agent, told me that our letter, in her words, touched the seller. So we were like the third highest offer, but they accepted our offer because we were the only ones that did these extra steps to get to get us noticed. So I mean, tugging at the seller's heart, if possible, will help you write that letter and tell a little bit about yourself and your family. I think it definitely does help. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5, communication. Is your agent communicating with you? Is your agent communicating with the other side, the seller side? Are they calling before they submit the offer? Are they calling after they submit the offer? Are they getting the information they need before they submit the offer so that they can send everything that they need to in order to help you get it approved? Going and seeing the house and then writing up an offer and then them submitting it over and the agent has to, on the other side, has to come after them for things. It's not going to work in your favor. So let's make sure you have an agent that's proactive and doing everything they can to help you get your offer accepted. And if you have questions, there's nothing wrong with asking them from the get-go. What are you going to do that's different to help me get my offer accepted? Because I really don't want to keep doing this all my life. You know what I mean? But yeah, so a proactive agent that wants to help you and also has connections in the neighborhood or in the community is very helpful. So make sure you have an agent working in your favor and hustling. Okay. And my next tip, we are number 6, is going to be act fast. So you see a home listed in your email, you get a notification, there's a new listing, you want to see it. You go see it that day or the next day. You like it, get home and get the offer written up and get it submitted right away. This is no time to wait. I've seen many times where people wait. Then they, a day or two, and then when they go to submit their offer, the agent says, sorry, we're not accepting any more offers, or sorry, we already accepted an offer. So get it in right away. Okay? My next tip is going to be number 7, and that's going to be the seller's intent. So if possible, try to find out why the seller is selling their home, because you might be able to use this in your benefit. And I'll give you an example. So let's say that the seller is moving because their family is growing and they need more room, but the sale is contingent on the purchase of a replacement property. If you know this and you're not in a big hurry, you could say on the contract, buyer willing to work with seller on time frame of closing escrow as needed for whatever. That's going to take some of the stress off the seller, because remember, if they're out there buying a property, they're in your shoes as well. They're also buyers, so they're having a hard time too, probably finding a new property. Knowing that they have someone in line that is willing to work with them and not put a bunch of pressure to close on them and give them the time they need to close the escrow is going to take some stress off and maybe help the situation. And of course, only offer this if that's something you can realistically do. But I mean, that's just one example. There could be many different scenarios where you can use it in your benefit to let the seller know you're willing to work with them. Let's get this going. Okay. And remember, it's not always possible to find out the seller intent. Sometimes they won't tell you, but sometimes you can find out, and that's when it might help you. And we are on number 8, flexibility. When I say flexibility, I'm talking about like the terms of the contract. So every single escrow, of course, is going to have contingency periods, like the inspection, the appraisal, the loan. So if it's possible at all for you to shorten any of the contingencies or shorten the escrow close time, um, that may very well help you because in many cases, the seller wants to get through this escrow, get it closed, and move on with their life. So if you're able to shorten any contingency periods, that's a tip you can see if you can use to help you. Of course, make sure that everyone in the game is on board. You're going to want to check with your lender for the appraiser because sometimes they might charge you extra to rush it. Sometimes you can't even get it done because of the coronavirus and everything is kind of throwing a wrench in things, and things like asking for rush services aren't available. So just make sure everyone's on board, you know, the inspector, the appraisal, everything, everyone agrees, and that you know if there's going to be any extra charges. But if you can make it happen, that might help you. If you can shorten things up and allow a faster close, that's going to look attractive to the seller. Number 9. I didn't know if I should bring this up because I've never used it myself, but I have seen it talked about recently, so I thought I would throw it in there. An escalation clause so there's this thing called an escalation clause where if you put an offer in, you could say, okay, here's my starting offer, and I'm going to say if anyone comes in above me on the the offer price, you can go ahead and raise my offer X amount of dollars until it reaches this amount. So let's say you come in at 500,000 and someone offers 510, and you said you will do increments of $1,000, so you're going to come in at 511 to outbid them until you reach 520. That's an escalation clause, and if you want more information on that, you can ask your agent. But that's just another option you can use. As far as you're worrying about overbidding or paying too much for the home, just keep in mind that the appraisal does have to happen. So the house has to appraise at the amount that you're being that the money is being loaned. So they're not going to loan you more money than the house is worth, is what I'm trying to say. So if you do end up paying too much, then when you come to the appraisal time and the appraiser appraises it at less than what you offered, in most cases you're going to be coming back to the negotiation table to negotiate the price at that point with the seller. So that is about it. I know that was a little bit long. I was trying to keep it as short as possible. I know everyone's got a busy life, but I had to get it all in there. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I really do hope it helps. If you are in my neck of the woods, Long Beach, Bellflower, Lakewood, San Pedro, these are all my favorite cities, Orange County, please don't hesitate to reach out, and I will be more than happy to help you get into escrow in one of the homes you find. Again, thank you so much for watching, and you guys have a great day, and see you next time.